Greetings, Rumblers. Blue Max here. And today we're going to discuss, go over my thoughts on PvP. And specifically, what we're going to go over is first what we know is coming to PvP, whether it's Season 3 or a future season, we don't yet know. But this is information that was provided by Blizzard during BlizzCon in November of 2023. I'm going to discuss what I think is good about the changes, as well as perhaps things that are not so good and may present some unintended consequences. And finally, I'm going to give my recommendations, and that's going to be based upon some other mobile strategy, PvP type games that I've played in the past. And finally, please leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to dialogue with my audience. All right, so first, let's discuss what we know is coming down the pipe. And that is, in the future, each match is going to incorporate a random match out of the pool, rather than, for example, at the time of recording this video, we are all going through the Arathi Basin. So instead, each match is going to be different. And additionally, there will be new modifiers called siege modifiers. These modifiers are going to come bi-weekly. I think what I mean to say by that is every other week they're going to change. So the first one is crumbling towers, and basically once a tower has been captured, it is going to turn into a meeting stone, and so that is going to allow recapturing towers to be a very different factor into PvP, and so you're not going to have to spend as much gold to retake. So that's definitely going to change how the game is currently played. It's too early to tell exactly how. The other modifier is called collateral damage, and what it does is every time a tower is destroyed or changes control, it's going to impact the enemy base. It's going to cause damage. And this is going to really emphasize map control, or at least Blizzard thinks so, and it's going to reduce the effectiveness of just targeting your opponent's barracks, whether that is by bypassing towers or using some form of unbound attack that is very prevalent in the current Arathi Basin meta, especially if you're playing Mave. In addition to that, they're going to be implementing global leaderboards. They don't say whether this is going to be for individual, guild, or both. I'm definitely hoping for both, because I think there's a lot of benefit to both of that in terms of just galvanizing a competitive spirit within the game and encouraging people to push hard. It's just a very satisfying feeling to see your name on a leaderboard, and Blizzard should obviously take advantage of that. So I seem to have forgotten some additional things in the list, and we're going to go over those real quick. And that is, we're going to get replays, as well as being able to show your loadout in a match, as well as your opponent's. And that's going to really benefit the in-guild game chat, which currently, at least for Diablo Gaming, because we have a very robust Discord server, we just don't use the in-game guild chat. But in the previous game that a lot of us played, called Darkfire Heroes, we used the guild chat continually because we could share loadouts and replays, and it was just a very effective way to share information with each other. So I definitely think that's going to benefit not only guilds that have Discord servers, but also smaller, more casual guilds. Definitely a good thing. So good aspects about that is, if you feel like the current meta is stale, maybe you don't like the present map that is occurring, then you're going to like this, and you're going to enjoy the variety. Okay, well, there's my tab on sharing replays, but I don't think I specified in the previous slide that we're getting replays and loadouts. All right, and I already said this as well. Global leaderboards are going to drive more interest in competition, and that is, of course, going to drive sales within the game and help the game to be more successful. That's not a bad thing. However, I do believe there are some problems with what we have been presented, and it's possible that we don't have the whole picture, that we haven't been provided the whole picture, and so it's yet to be determined if the problems that I'm going to bring up here will be realized. And these are both my own observations as well as chat internally within Diablo Gaming with a lot of the other top PvP players. And the first one is wins are going to be at least partly determined based upon RNG. And that is, if I'm playing my Mave deck, did the map that I just draw favor Mave, or does it favor my opponent's leader, or is it kind of washed because neither one of our decks is particularly good on this map? So it's going to add a randomization to PvP, which I don't think is actually good, because you want to be able to think about the current map that you're playing and how to, what strategy you're going to take, as well as what units to use. And so I think that's going to hurt it. And what it may cause is everyone basically says, okay, this is the deck everyone's running, and if I run a mirror of it, then I'm going to be at least fairly safe. I'm not going to be at a particular disadvantage if the map that is selected doesn't work for me. So my recommendation is that we eventually move to 2 separate PvP modes. And the first one I'm just going to call it regular mode, and it's the mode we currently have. And the second one, kind of borrowing Supercell terms, Power League from Brawl Stars and Path of Legends from Clash Royale. And we'll go over that right now. So with the regular mode, I do want to talk about rewards. As Mini Manlow, aka the Arclight Battery, has said, we should shorten the reward track, make it a little bit easier to obtain, or more widely accessible. And part of that is going to be having PvP level caps increase from 3,000 to 4,000. So if you shorten the cap and you provide level caps, then you're going to have a larger number of people obtaining more rewards and engaging in the PvP process. Whereas right now, if you don't have level 8s, 9s, or 10s, you're pretty well locked out once you hit 3,000. And that, I don't think, is a good thing. Granted, as the game is out longer and longer, that's going to be less of a factor. But for right now, I definitely think it is. Also, I would like to see the map and modifier rotations go a lot faster. I mean, yes, it means, well, I don't think it means it's going to be harder to figure out the meta, because over time you're going to see just more and more different combinations. And so that also means if you don't like the map that we're going to be playing for the next 6 weeks, then maybe PvP isn't for you for that time period. Whereas if we change the map and modifier on a more frequent basis, then maybe you take a break for a couple of days and then come back when it's a different map. And that also means, okay, if this is a map you really understand and you're successful with, then you can push during that time, and then you can take a little bit of a break later. So I don't think that's a bad thing. The new mode, I do think random map selection is a great idea, but it also needs to incorporate either being able to select from a number of pre-built decks or some type of draft and ban system. And so the pre-built decks maybe that's your top 3 PvP decks, as well as one other wild card or maybe a random deck that gets selected. And maybe even there you get to ban, say you are particularly bad against Rend, then you could ban your opponent if they have Rend as a possible deck. It just adds additional variety. Or a draft system similar to what Heroes of the Storm has, or Brawl Stars with Power League and Club League. and the draft system. That could be a lot of fun where everyone, you know, has the opportunity to ban either leaders or minis that they feel are overpowered at the time, and it allows for a lot more variety. And you could have different modifiers where, okay, as soon as someone selects safe pilot, then that mini is locked and you can't select it. Or you could allow mirrors, and again, that's just additional variety. And I think that would be a great candidate for a unique reward track and leaderboard, and for rewards, skins for your minis or maybe towers, unique profile pics, maybe even ones that indicate that during this particular season reached a particularly high milestone, and arclight energy. Something that as you play the game more and more, you're just going to run out of. It would be great to have a non-currency based way to get more arclight energy. Right. And that's pretty much everything I have for this video. So if you liked the content and you felt like it was beneficial and you're so inclined, I would appreciate likes, comments, or subscriptions to my channel. Again, please let me know what your thoughts are, whether you think I've got some good ideas here or not, and I would love to engage in a conversation. All right. Thank you so much for viewing.